Förster Reihe as they look to book their tickets to the quarterfinal, something they've only done once in the last 5 seasons. A spot in the last 8 at stake. Union Berlin, the Iron Ones, put their iron will to the test against the record title holders in one of the most atmospheric grounds German football has to offer. Electric, with the ability to spark something special. And this is a night for heroes and villains. Some grit, some glory, bit of legend, bit of legacy. The type of match that can tap into the full spectrum of emotions that this beautiful game has to offer. Time for a look at the team sheet, starting with hosts Union Berlin, whose head coach Steffen Baumgart makes 3 changes following an ill-timed 2-1 loss to Heidenheim, in which they led until the 90th minute here on home soil. There are fresh legs out wide, with Christopher Trimmel and Derek Kern replaced by Yannick Habre and Tom Rother, respectively. Elsewhere, Oliver Burke makes way for Andras Schäfer, as former Bayern forward Woo Yong-jong and Ilyas Anser make up the front 2. Keep an eye on Anser, who had a goal chalked off for offside when these sides met almost a month ago. There is Vincent Kompany, missed out on the DFB-Pokal in his debut season. If he can deliver in his second campaign on the hot seat, and then progress will be made, and that domestic domination he was expected to deliver edges a bit closer. As for the Belgians' lineup, there are 3 changes compared to the side that started the 3-1 win against St. Pauli. Manuel Neuer makes his cup return, having served the 2-game ban for his sending off in the round of 16 loss to Leverkusen last season. The 3 alterations see Dayot Upamecano and Josip Stanisic return to the back 4 in place of Min Jae Kim and Tom Bischoff. Meanwhile, Michael Olise returns to the starting lineup in place of Rafael Guerrero. And after braces against Wien Wiesbaden and Köln, Harry Kane sits top of the DFB-Pokal goal-scoring charts with 4 to his name. Steffen Baumgart, well aware of the individual brilliance that Bayern have on offer. And he has talked at length about the collective effort being key for his side tonight. This is the first time ever that Bayern and Union are facing off in the DFB-Pokal. The overall head-to-head record across 13 Bundesliga encounters, including the one almost a month ago, 8 Bayern wins, 5 draws. But 2 of those draws have come under current head coach Steffen Baumgart, who as Union boss is yet to lose to Bayern. And he's hoping not to start that run tonight. All eyes on Germany's capital, where all roads lead in the DFB-Pokal. It's Union Berlin against Bayern München, a ticket to the quarter-final for the victors. The record title holders in Berlin in December, but can they pave the way for a return in May? James Thorogood, your match commentator, delighted to have the pleasure of your company, as well as that of Steffen Freund. And Steffen, the lack of atmosphere aside right now, how important are the opening exchanges? I hold the thought, because Olise's bearing down on goal already, in an early test for Frederick Röhnert.
Good point, and you already give me the answer. Long ball from Neuer, be in Union's half, and because there's no noise, the support is not there for 12 minutes. Maybe Bayern can go early 1-0 up this time to change everything completely to the Bundesliga game.
Yeah, the silence here at the Stadion an der Alten Försterei, normally one of the most atmospheric in German football, but a result of the nationwide atmosphere boycotts that fan groups are putting in for the first 12 minutes of matches. The protests due to future safety measures in football being discussed at the Interior Ministers' Conference, which started today in Bremen and runs until Friday. Before this game started, a moment that the stadium announcer took to share the fact that there have already been positive moves made in that regard, and that was met by a very raucous response from the home crowd here. And have no doubt, when the 12th minute hits, the electricity and the energy will certainly be switched back on. But as Stefan points out, a chance for Bayern to capitalise while the X factor of the home crowd isn't prevalent.
Exactly. Now the first time Union tried to press high, and you see Neuer is playing a long ball. No build up, no individual mistake, especially in the beginning of the game, to bring Union even more in the game.
And Manuel Neuer making his 61st appearance in this competition, which is more than the entire Union Berlin starting lineup both combined. Gives you a taste of his longevity and the difficult task that Stefan Baumgart's side have when it comes to experience at the highest level of knockout competitions. Lennart Karl. Closely followed by Leopold Querfeld there, someone who will draw a lot of close attention. Now with Stanisic. Yannick Haber backing off to deal with the threat of Diaz. Now it's worked infield to Karl. Leimer flits into that inside right channel. Union collapse their lines. Olise, one-on-one with Rother. Went on the outside. Door closed by Diogo Leite. Bayern quickly establishing an early foothold in this game. The ball down the wing doesn't work out for Konrad Leimer. He wins it back though, and Olise can't quite latch onto it. Union taking their opportunities to get stuck in, but showing a fair bit of respect to Bayern in the opening exchanges here. It took until the 33rd minute for Bayern to produce their first shot on goal of the game in the 2-2 draw here. Almost a month ago, it took 33 seconds for the first shot tonight from Michael Olise. That pass goes astray, looking for Lennart Karl. Leimer scrapping away against Tom Rother. Then loses out against Dayot Upamecano. Kimmich round the corner to Karl now. The high press from Union is making Bayern work really hard. Diaz. Forced all the way backwards, but will happily accept a goal kick and a chance just to alleviate the press.
Yeah, but that was a really good example. If the ball arrives to Diaz or Kane or Olise, they can't turn. So they're still in their own half and they can't open up their body, so they have to play backwards. And that's exactly Union's match plan.
Nice piercing pass to Kane. And Dookie for company. And they turned the ball over well. It just didn't work out for the home side as it trickled through to Manuel Neuer. Those are the moments they have to try and capitalise on. That was a lovely first touch from Lennart Karl. If you're not familiar with his talents, well, it won't take long. Diaz scored a blinder against Union. Fancied another, but then thought a little too long and overthought it in the end.
Yeah, and he was looking for Olise. He's coming inside from the right side. And then it's playing like a striker, so deep runs behind. I think that was an option for Diaz to try to shoot from 20 yards. Why not?
Well, given how hard he had to work for his goal in the 2-2 draw, I'm surprised he didn't fancy his chances of at least testing Frederic Renaud. The goal he scored, arguably one of the goal of the season candidates already. Plenty of courage being shown by Union. Perhaps emboldened by the 2-2 draw against Bayern and not set back by the 2-1 defeat to Heidenheim here on the weekend. They were 1-0 up until the 90th minute of that game and conceded twice in injury time to lose 2-1 against the side that were bottom of the Bundesliga.
Yeah, and Steffen Baumgart at the press conference was really disappointed about that defeat. So far, the reaction are really positive against the best team in Germany.
Wu Yongjong, former Bayern player, unable to get the cross in. Harbour, a chance to launch the long throw. Dookie underneath it, beats Kane to the ball. It comes through to Tom Water, and first time effort on the volley, not bad. He thought there might have been a hint of a handball, but settles for the corner.
And we spoke about set pieces. Long throws are also an option, especially when you have Dookie so good in the air, wins the header and half a chance for Rote.
Yeah, set-piece vulnerabilities have been long-standing for Bayern. It goes back to the time of Tuchel, Hansi Flick, Nagelsmann. The keys jangle at the Stadion an der Alten Försterei as the corners whips in. Met by Kane. Thunderous header at the defensive end, and that's a loose pass that Diaz will latch on to. Unfortunately, his header favoured Wu Yongjong in the end and not Michael Olise. But already the intensity levels in this cup clash being set very high. Lima, that was difficult to deal with, but he did really well. Now Olise, back to goal, back to Pavlovic with the pass. Tar, on to Josip Stanisic. Tar getting some whistles when he's on the ball because he didn't make any friends here in the capital during the 2-2 draw. Khedira gives Jong and Ansah something to chase. Upamecano deals with the danger. And Union will look to exploit the pace of that front two, but now Kimmich has given away. Ansah with a chance, and it's a team effort comfortably dealt with by Manuel Neuer.
And again, the chance came after good pressing, high pressing, individual mistake from Kimmich this time.
But now Union are stretched, and Olise feeds the run of Karl. First time effort quickly shut down by Tom Rote. And that is the risk that Union run when they press high up the pitch. Now Karl sees his pass picked off by Jong. In his 61 DFB-Pokal appearances, you have to think that's one of the easiest saves that Manuel Neuer has had to make. Now Olise is on the run. Harry Kane. Those two not quite on the same wavelength on that occasion. No, it's fair to say they have a wonderful understanding. Lennart Karl, again dropping deep in midfield. Stanisic is making a run in behind. It would have been a very ambitious pass to try and pick him out. Instead, Karl goes back to Kimmich. Tar to Diaz. Diaz breezes past Harbour. Finds Stanisic. Stanisic looking for Kane, but in a sea of red and white shirts, he was not to be found. Lima looking to dink it in towards Diaz, and Dookie makes life awkward and conceding the corner. And
that's the danger for Union. Harbour on the right side, normally a midfielder, playing Trimmel's position, and 1 against 1, he's not the best, especially against Diaz, using that option.
Right now behind Frederick Bruno's goal, the banner being unfurled, ready for when the 12th minute hits. Bayern with a chance to silence the home crowd before it does. Kimmich's corners can cause chaos. Bruno comes and doesn't get there, it's an own goal! Ilias Ansa, the unwitting party at the back post, and Bayern have a precious early lead here at the Stadion an der Alten Försterei. And right before the 12th minute mark, they silence the home crowd further.
Shocking news, of course, and Stefan Baumgart is still surprised that Ansa didn't react quicker, but I think it was Frederic Renaud. Couldn't clear the situation. Look, he's coming from his line. Pavlovic is close to him. For me, not enough for a foul. Delivery from Kimmich to the goal. And Ansa not ready to clear that situation on the second post. Look. Individual mistake from Ansa.
And from Renaud.
And from Renaud. Yeah, both.
Went flapping at the ball, didn't get there. It is being checked. But the replays didn't seem to suggest Pavlovic did anything untoward to really impede Renaud. And indeed, the goal stands. Bayern in front in this DFB-Pokal round of 16 tie. And the 12th minute is hit, the atmosphere returns. The tifo behind Renaud's goal. One win. It's not come on its own. The same goes for the cup. That's it. You've got to string them together to get all the way to the final. In the Olympiastadion on the other side of this great city. Ansa, keen to atone for the error. Ansa, twice denied. We talked about the importance of the opening exchanges and the importance of the opening goal, certainly not lost either here tonight, and the fact that Bayern have got it early suggests an even bigger uphill struggle for Union tonight.
Definitely a moment too late, the support is back, but don't forget, individual mistakes coming from yourself, and I think this time was Renaud.
Oh, header from Zuki.
From Renaud and from Ansa.
Gets up there as an auxiliary striker, testing Manuel Neuer. The Bayern fans are bouncing behind Neuer's goal. Plenty have made the trip up to the capital. Neuer goes long. Stanisic, look at the position that the left-back has taken up here for Bayern. Operating as a second striker, Karl's first touch that time lets him down, and now Tar in a foot race with Jong. And Jong's got the pace to beat him. Cross was great, but there was no one there. Now Lima looks to bring the ball quickly down the other end for Bayern. Olise's pass is a touch short, though. Quarter of an hour played. This game taking on a slightly different dynamic to the one we saw in the Bundesliga a few weeks ago. Namely because Bayern have the opening goal here and their dominance has deserved it. But Stefan, how do Union now use the X-factor of this home crowd to get them back in the game? Because it's a very different prospect when you take the lead against Bayern compared to when you fall behind against them.
Definitely, but no change of the match plan so quickly. Because against Bayern, you can go 1-0 down, no question. Everyone knows that, especially if you make individual mistakes. Overall, they will talk about that at halftime. So far, they will stay with the match plan and will not change anything.
Oh, Lise does brilliantly to ride two challenges. Finds Karl out wide. Khedira closes him down. As a result, Bayern just resets with their talismanic playmaker, Joshua Kimmich. We really have the atmosphere befitting this DFB-Pokal tie. Karl getting on that left foot of his and didn't quite catch that cleanly. But that is the danger he poses, the 17-year-old. And that left foot of his is a weapon.
Yeah, that's why he likes to come from the right side. At the beginning of the game, Olise was more on the right side. Now, I think there's a little bit rotation for both. So Olise can play in the middle, but Karl too. Dangerous for Union.
Kimmich loses the 50-50, but Pavlovic comes away with it. Now Kane, quickly closed down by Duki, looks to find Olise. Lovely pass, and there is room through the middle to manoeuvre. Pavlovic tries to exploit it, but Leopold Querfeld does really well there to shut that down, though does concede at the corner in the process.
Maybe there was contact from Pavlovic, so no corner. We will talk about that later. Or hopefully not.
All I can say is I hope the volume levels are translating at home, because they're very impressive here at the Altenfürsterei. Olise with the corner. Khedira gives it back to the Frenchman. Lima to Kimmich. Quickly closed down. They know how dangerous his diagonal passes can be. Neuer. The pass of a seasoned midfielder there to Michael Olise out wide. 39 years old. And he says he's still just as happy as he was as 20-year-old Manuel Neuer. Right now, a lot of talk about whether he might just come out of international retirement to feature in another World Cup in the United States in the summer, though he says he's not thinking about that or setting targets because he's someone living in the here and now. But he did say that it hasn't changed his stance as things stand, which suggests he might just be leaving the crack of the door open.
Yeah, offside from Ansa on the left side.
Diaz. Karl. Cushion touch. Querfeld too close for comfort. Diaz. Oh, brilliant footwork by the Colombian. Lost out in the end. Oh, there's no foul there. And Martin Peterson quick to wave Andras Schäfer to his feet. Olise. Diaz. Diaz wants it back, gets it back from Pavlovic. Finds Olise, lovely pass, Kane round the corner, but Olise goes alone, and the angle a little tight. The shot squeezed through Union defenders, dealt with by Renault.
And most of the Union players behind the ball, still no space to create something, but Bayern can. So they don't need lots of space to pass the ball and bring someone in a really good position to finish.
Bayern, the record title holders in the DFB-Pokal with 20 cup wins to their name, the last being in 2020. Featured in the final in the last 5 years, and Vincent Kompany wants to change that, though he said, I can talk about getting to the final all I want, but I can't talk my team into the final. Ultimately, he says it comes down to hard work and attitude, and right now, Bayern showing the right attitude, and they're putting in the hard work just like they did in the Bundesliga a few weeks ago. The big difference is they have the lead to work with now.
And they are fresher. Don't forget, they played with 9 men or 10 against Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League 70 minutes before that game here in Berlin.
Fist in from range, but always rising. Oh, Joscha Kemlein may have momentarily had his eyes light up. Okay, nice flick on Stanisic again with that marauding run forward from left back. Not the first time he's done that tonight. Now he provides the first line of defence. The Croatian.
Yes, unbelievable.
Backed
Definitely
up by Diaz.
I think it's good because you mentioned it. I think it's part of the match plan that Stanisic can go forward all the way to create a spare man or to press high or to support Harry Kane.
And Renault just calling for a bit of calm, which Union could do with right now. They're not really being afforded the opportunities to instill any by this Bayern side right now, and Kimmich with another corner. It was Union who scored twice from corners in the 2-2 draw. Bayern have struck first from a set piece of their own this time. And now Kimmich might fancy his chances of picking out a teammate. Renault doesn't get there, and this time Kane makes it 2-0. Bayern are beating Union Berlin at their own game from set pieces. The first an own goal, the second belongs to the top goal scorer in the competition this season. Harry Kane, with his 5th, makes it 2-0 to Bayern.
Great delivery again from Joshua Kimmich. Harry Kane, remember the Klassiker at home, header against Dortmund. He's scoring anyway most of the games, but look at there. Good run, strong in the air. Is there contact? A little bit push. Exactly the same then against Girassi, but for me not enough for a free kick. It is against Rote, or is it Querfeld? Sorry, I think it's Querfeld. Kane strong in there.
For me, though, twice, Renault has to be stronger against Pavlovic. Pavlovic isn't really doing much to put him off. You know, he's not really getting involved or getting touch tight. He's just standing there. And Renault, given he's a goalkeeper of his experience, for me, has to do better in asserting himself. And twice, Union punished for his lack of authority in the penalty area. They look for a response. Schaefer! Oh! Well, it would have been a great one.
Good reaction, good. I think that shot was not too far away. Let's have a look. Perfect camera. Good try.
That's sweetly struck. That's what Union desperately need now. A shot in the arm. 2-0 down against Bayern. And Vincent Kompany was asked about the side's propensity for conceding in first in recent matches, whether it be against Freiburg or St. Pauli. He did point out that, you know, a few months ago we were going 2-3-0 up at the beginning of matches, and now it's a return to normal form.
Yes. Only to mention, Rote after 8 minutes, Anza after 10 minutes got moments to bring Union 1-0 up. Today, of course, 2 set pieces changed the game in Bayern Munich's way.
Olise being afforded a fair bit of freedom here at the first Rai. Diaz. Laimer to Kimmich, who has them lining up in the middle. Olise underneath it. Based on the home support, you wouldn't know that Union Berlin were 2-0 down here. But that is this passionate fan base at their best. They know that this is still a special cup night against the best that German football has to offer. The record title holders in the DFB-Pokal. But with over an hour left to play, stranger things have happened. Olise. Again, Union collapsing their lines. Again, it's Jong who picks off a pass with the help, though, of the referee, Martin Petersen, hence the stop in play. Now look at the early match statistics, and Union have had more shots on goal, Stefan, but it's Bayern who lead 2-0.
Exactly, because Union is in the game. But this time, Bayern Munich so effective, clinic in front of the goal. Set pieces. Everyone was sure that Union will, if they score, they will score after set pieces. And it is Bayern Munich after 24 minutes, 2 times.
Yeah, something tells me Vincent Kompany might get asked about that in his press conference, and something tells me that when he does, he's going to have a big smile on his face.
Sure.
It's funny the way that football can write the narratives, though.
And maybe to explain for the supporters at home, in swing Kimmich into the 6-yard box, Pavlovic really close to the goalkeeper, make it difficult for the goalkeeper to come, and then Harry Kane is coming always in the right moment in that position to win the ball, and Union are defending in the zone. So it's difficult to win the header against Harry Kane.
And maybe something that Bayern worked on the training ground in their behind closed doors session the other day. In fact, as Union, they've won their last 4 cup ties here on home soil, but their form this season has been patchy. 3 wins, 3 draws, 2 losses, including that 2-1 defeat to Heidenheim, which was anything but the ideal warm-up for the visit of the Bavarian Giants, who are now going through the gears quite nicely. Karl combining with Diaz. Karl, oh, lovely little chop at the heel. A bit congested there. Pavlovic takes charge. Loses out against Jong. A rare errant pass from Pavlovic under pressure. Jong, the former Bayern player, only ever made 2 appearances for the senior side. Won the Dritte Liga title under Sebastian Hoeneß with the reserves. Trying to make an impact up front along with Ansa, but they are both struggling. Meanwhile, Lennart Karl, he's pulling the strings in midfield, Stefan, and interesting to note, Harry Kane, as a result, is not dropping as deep as we've seen him do this season.
Yeah, and I think today, overall, the 4 attacking players are a little bit different. Especially Diaz likes to come inside to open up the space for Stanisic, so then Diaz is close to Kane, then Diaz coming back, then Olise is coming inside from the right side, and Karl going to the right side. So lots of rotation, I think, is the perfect answer, and that makes it so difficult for Union to catch that attacking players.
Stanisic again with the high press. Kimmich slots in between the centre-backs to provide reinforcements. Laimer dealt with the pressure really well there from Tom Porter. There was Christoph Baumgartner, who joined Harry Kane on 4 goals in this competition this season after his brace in Leipzig's 3-1 win against Magdeburg. last night, but now Kane with 5 is once again the outright top goal scorer in this competition, adding to his braces against Bayern Wiesbaden in the first round and Köln in the second, though shouldn't forget there was a missed penalty against Bayern Wiesbaden that meant he had to produce a late winner in that game. By Harry Kane's standards, a rare penalty miss as well. Oh, Karl! That's magic to go past Querfeld. And feeding Lima was the right idea, he just didn't get the pass right.
Yeah, and for his age, 17, to give Querfeld a nutmeg in that moment, look at it. That's amazing, and what a belief already for that youngster.
Yeah, that is something that really stands out about him, and Max Ebel, the sporting director, was talking about it, basically saying that what's Karl's greatest strength is the fact he doesn't overthink things. Union doing a little overthinking now. They get the ball into Bayern's final third. Neuer sees that cross the whole way, no danger whatsoever. Fellow Frenchman, Olise sees the space, tries to turn into it and gets past Querfeld, who went diving in. Now Lima, Diaz in acres of space. Quick 1-2 between Karl and Lima. Kimmich now looking for Olise. Bayern are really enjoying their football now. Olise, header clear by Querfeld. Karl, the only competition he's yet to open his account in is the DFB-Pokal. He did it against Club Brugge in the Champions League with a stunning effort. And then he backed it up with another stunning effort against Borussia Mönchengladbach. Oh, Lima, he's got the nutmeg now. I tell you, when Konrad Lima is pulling out nutmegs, then you know Bayern are having fun.
And of course they have confidence, enjoying playing football the whole season, and 2-0 up in Berlin. I think that's good news. And of course mentally not easy for the Union side at the moment. And if they concede the third before halftime, then maybe it's too difficult to come back.
I mean, we are talking, Stefan, about a Bayern side who, with the 2 goals tonight, have got 70 goals already this season. It's only the beginning of December. That's 70 goals in 21 games.
Oh, can't breathe. That's a start.
And quick maths, that's more than 3 a game on average. Oh. They've got 2 already tonight. Bayern exacting a bit of revenge. An awkward bounce there, and what body part did that come off? I think it was the spin of the ball more than the touch from Tar that changed the trajectory.
Yeah, and he was surprised. That's why it's no penalty. Contact was there, definitely, on his hand.
Pavlovic now, pocket of space to work with. Such a tiny midfielder, Alexander Pavlovic. Olise to Lima. Lovely, neat little turn to find Karl. Karl piercing past to Diaz, and first touch just bounced a little too far clear, else he'd have got the shot off quickly. That really is the quality of this Bayern side. In the blink of an eye, they could just turn it on.
Yeah, we can breathe, because there was a fantastic pass from Karl again to Diaz. And if it's the first touch perfect, he is 1-against-1 with the goalkeeper.
Perfectly weighted pass from Elise. Now he tries to find Kane with the header. Kane on the turn. Kane with the chance for his second! Oh, what a delicate finish, but the offside flag is up. That's a confident call from the assistant on the far side. I'm not so sure.
Me too, my first reaction. Yes, is offside. Is an offside position.
What a finish, though. I mean, just when you think he's going to put his laces through it. Ooh.
Yeah, there was the contact with... Oh, look at the ball is bouncing completely.
And that's the spin definitely threw Tar off. I could maybe understand if Union feel a little aggrieved about that, and that might be what's being checked now, because we haven't had a stoppage in place since. The Union players are asking the question. It did look really awkward in the first viewing with Jonathan Tah, and it was difficult to tell what was the spin of the ball and what was a touch off of him. And it's going to take a look at this, Martin Peterson. I have a feeling that we might have a penalty for Union Berlin here.
Yeah, that's why he's watching now the video. Overall, the ball bounced completely unnormal.
But there's movement towards the ball and away from it from Tah's arm, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
To be honest, that's not conclusive, that replay.
And it's a little bit more an accident than...
Eine mögliche Strafstoßentscheidung wurde überprüft, ein mögliches Handspiel. Nach Ansicht der Bilder liegt ein strafbares Handspiel vor. Finale Entscheidung, Strafstoß Union Berlin.
There is a penalisable handball against Jonathan Tah. And with time winding down in this first half, which has been blistering so far, an interesting twist at the Stadion an der Alten Försterei. Union Berlin have a penalty, a chance to reduce the arrears. Jonathan Tah is protesting his innocence, but...
Yeah, because it's about the bounce of the ball, because I think the pitch wasn't even, and that's why he was shocked and reacted a little bit with the arm to the ball. Difficult or hard decision, and I'm sure for Company is not understandable for all the Bayern supporters.
Don't get me wrong, it's not the most clear-cut penalty, but handball is handball, and I think that's probably what Martin Peterson is saying.
Or what the referees think, yes. As a former player, think about Jonathan Tah, you react because the ball is bouncing completely different.
And I have to say, it didn't look conclusive that it had hit under the
because the
t-shirt line.
Yeah, the movement of his upper body and his arm is not a clear handball, so that's why for a VAR, is it 100% okay?
Decision stands. Martin Peterson points to the spot Leopold Querfeld, who has scored 2 goals in 2 games in the DFB-Pokal this season, looking to make it 3 from 3 from the spot. The young Austrian centre-back shoulders the responsibility and sends Neuer the wrong way. Union Berlin have a lifeline before half-time. Something to work with for Stefan Baumgart's side. It'll be discussed long into the night. Tah's opinion won't change, but the penalty was given and Querfeld stepped up.
Perfect finish, and now we have an open game again. I think that goal is massive for the second half. So Union is back. 1 goal, final minute, deflected shot is 2-2 and extra time. And Bayern Munich, of course, have to do everything to win the game.
It has been a magnificent and absorbing first half. Harry Kane, 1 shot, 1 goal so far. Hasn't been his most impactful in open play, but Harry Kane does what Harry Kane does, Stefan.
No question, and that's why he's maybe the best striker in the world at the moment. And great header, set pieces, we spoke about that before the game, is anyway all the time important. For me, massive now, that penalty, because that can change the game in a way that every Bayern supporter will not understand. Is that a penalty? Is that a real handball?
I'll be honest, the handball rule is one of the most frustrating in the world of football right now. I can understand why Jonathan Tah was penalised, though.
Yeah, me too, but I'm a former player. If the ball bounces in front of you, in a different way do you expect, then your body have to move, and then is contact with his hand and arm, but whoa, very hard decision. Let's say it in that way.
And it has, it's given the momentum a little bit of a shift in favour of the home side as we approach half-time. They're trying to seize upon that initiative. And the players every opportunity trying to G up the Stadion an der Alten Försterei. Rota with the long throw. Leimer under pressure, it bounces clear, and Snapshots is actually going to go out for a throw-in due to the slice on the ball. Under pressure. Him and Danilo Duki having a good old head-to-head tussle. Duki, the two-goal almost hero in the 2-2 draw, and while this game has taken on a very different complexion, it remains just as entertaining, just as absorbing as that Bundesliga matchup. Of course, tonight the difference being that a 2-2 draw, not enough for either side. We need a winner tonight. This is knockout football. As Stefan Baumgart put it, there is no grey zone, it's black and white. It's all about putting on the best possible performance to give the best possible chance to advance. His side dealing with the early adversity of a 2-goal deficit against Bayern, but the type of situation that plays into Union's qualities, because with nothing to lose, they are certainly the type of team that can go hell for leather and cause real issues for opponents even of the calibre of Bayern, as proven. And they became the first team not to lose against them this season. Jong bears down on goal. Answer to Rota. Pass just a touch behind him. Rota digs out the cross, but too difficult in the end for the Union left back. Tried to wrap his foot around it. Here we see the opening goal. Bruno not acquitting himself well for the first or the second. Porter tried to keep the second off the line, but unable to do so. Really well against two, and Carl took one hack too many at the heels. 3 minutes of time added on at the end of this first half, and Union would love to return the status quo we had at the start of proceedings. Gonna get a chance here from this free kick. Yannick Haberer set to take. The two getting a little telling off there from the referee. floated in, it's dangerous, and it was Diogo late with the glancing header. Needed a bit more on it to test Neuer. First time we've really seen Union pose genuine threat from dead ball situations. Vincent Kompany said, of course I want to return to Berlin after this match. When asked about the pressure to deliver in his second season, he said, well, ultimately the pressure to win is good. He said at the end of the season we want to be playing games with that pressure. We want to be in the DFB-Pokal final. End of 5-year exile. Got an Union player down, but Kimmich plays on to find Lima. It's Woo Yong-jong who's down in the centre circle. And now a free kick goes Bayern's way for the foul on Michael Olise. A fair challenge in the air, but a very hard fall for the South Korean. Credited with 2 league wins and 1 cup win as a Bayern player, Woo Yong-jong. But a bit of a bruising experience for him up front. Now the final chance of this first half will go Bayern's way. They've scored 2 goals from set pieces already. Could they make it a hat-trick? Olise looking for Kane. Oh, it's another own goal! Diogo late. After all the hard work Union Berlin had done to reduce the arrears, it's Bayern on the stroke of half-time who restore their 2-goal advantage with their second own goal of the evening and their third from dead ball situations. What a way to exact their revenge for the 2-2 draw in the Bundesliga. They are truly beating Union at their own game, and for a third time tonight, Frederic Renaud does not cover himself in glory. Checked, I can only assume for an offside against Harry Kane, which it didn't look like there was. Tough to argue he affected play anyway, because it was Late whose header rocketed past Renaud, who did try to give his defender a shout. He came off his line, he wanted to produce some of the authority he didn't from the first 2 goals conceded, and unfortunately he didn't have that chance because an errant touch from Diogo Late, much like the one from Ilyas Ansa, shoots Union Berlin in the foot. And they can remonstrate till the cows come home, but it's 3-1 Bayern on the stroke of half-time. A fascinating first half in the German capital comes to an end. Bayern with 3 goals from set pieces against the set piece specialist Union Berlin. And at the break, it's Union 1, Bayern 3. Well, Bayern are in Berlin a few months early, but they want to pave the way for a return in May. And while there have been a few bumps in the road already tonight, they are on course to book their ticket to the quarterfinal with a 3-1 lead at the break. Steffen Baumgart and Union Berlin will have known that on nights like tonight you need things to go your way to get the better of Bayern, and very little has gone their way. Some of it's been self-inflicted, some of it hasn't. The 2 own goals, first from Ilias Ansa, then from Diogo Leite, have certainly not helped the cause, added to Bayern's scoreline either side of Harry Kane's 5th in this competition. At 2-0, a penalty for Union gave them away back into the game. Leopold Querfeld scoring from the spot to make it 3 goals in 3 cup games this season. But Bayern's dominance reflected on the scoreline. And so far it's been a very tough watch for the home crowd. But as they say, the cup does write its own rules, and maybe Union need that to happen here tonight. The odds of beating Bayern are always tough at the start of proceedings. To find yourself 3-1 down in such extraordinary circumstances certainly makes life a whole lot more difficult. This is the first goal. Ilias Ansa unwitting at the back post. Didn't really have a sharp moment defensively when he needed one. Caught off guard when Renaud came flapping. Then Renaud didn't come for the second corner. Pavlovic again making himself a nuisance in front of the goalkeeper. This time it was Harry Kane, though, asserting himself in the air, adding to the 2 goals that he scored against Wien Wiesbaden and Köln. And he might make it another brace here tonight. Then this was a big moment in the first half. The flick on from Danilo Duki, clipping the arm of Jonathan Tah, and after Martin Peterson consulted the sideline monitor, penalty awarded. Querfeld converted. But then on the stroke of half-time, all of Union Berlin's hard work undone by Diogo Leite. Steffen Baumgart's half-time team talk revised once again. But an uphill struggle at the start of play just got a lot more harder, or a lot harder I should say, for Union Berlin. Join us again shortly for the second half. At the break, it's Union 1, Bayern 3.
Welcome back, everybody. Let's analyze what happened in the first half with our expert Steffen Freund. Steffen, well, we talked about the set pieces before, but this was not the way it was meant to be.
Exactly. 2 goals after set pieces for Bayern Munich, not for Union Berlin. Completely the opposite. But we know that Bayern Munich has the individual quality, and with Kimmich, the taker, can make the difference, and then Kane or individual mistakes from Renaud and Ansa change the game so quickly.
But overall, 2 own goals, that's quite painful.
I try to be positive for Union, but so many things go wrong today, because you know you have to start well. I think they created 2 half chances in the beginning, but then was Bayern to score, and then the third one again, an own goal, again set pieces, good delivery from Olise, and then you 3-1 down. Oh, not a good game for Union so far.
In any way, you can really see that Bayern wants it. What kind of option does Union Berlin have now for the second half?
I think the reaction was good. They came back after, for me, a penalty. I'm not 100% sure the VAR have to jump in. Overall, that's the option. The next goal have to be Union. If Bayern scores the next one, then I think it's finished.
Thank you so much, Steffen, and you guys enjoy the second half.
One competition, so many stories, dramatic moments, future superstars who took their first steps in the DFB-Pokal, and remarkable cup nights. The DFB-Pokal, simply special. This is why we love football. Back in 2003, Hoffenheim were still non-league minnows from a small village, but in the dressing room they had good reason to celebrate and knew how to party. The coach was the life and soul of it, Hansi Flick, future treble winner and German national team coach. This is where he kick-started a stellar career. In the round of 16 against Bayer Leverkusen, Hoffenheim were ready to shine and produce their finest hour to date, an exhilarating performance and 3-2 victory that left Leverkusen stunned. Hansi Flick and Hoffenheim celebrated an almighty cup shot in 2003. The 23rd of May 1992, a remarkable day and a final to remember in Berlin. Second tier Hannover 96 took on overwhelming favourites Borussia Mönchengladbach. Goalless after 120 minutes, the final would be decided by a penalty shootout, where Jörg Sievers was the hero of the hour, saving 2 spot kicks at the Olympiastadion. For the first time ever in the DFB-Pokal, a second division side lift the prestigious trophy. Befittingly, the celebrations started in the stadium, carried on into the dressing room, and continued the next day, together with 50,000 fans at the City Hall in Hanover. If Germany internationals are walking to the game, it has to be the DFB-Pokal. Bastian Schweinsteiger helped out with the Bayern reserves in the first round in summer 2004. The visitors and clear favourites were Borussia Mönchengladbach. But this was still Bayern, and Schweinsteiger and co had lofty ambitions. The opener from Jungwirth was cancelled out when Gladbach equalised in the 85th minute. The game went to penalties. Bayern coaching legend Hermann Gerland and Schweinsteiger, who'd been subbed off, could only look on in hope. It was a shootout full of tension and emotion, the excitement such that you could barely watch. After 18 penalties, the hero in Munich was keeper Michael Rensing. Bayern's under-23s had dumped Gladbach out of the competition. In the thick of it was Bastian Schweinsteiger, who 10 years later would lead Germany to World Cup glory. The showpiece event in 1973, to this day one of the most dramatic and storied DFB-Pokal finals ever. Borussia Mönchengladbach against FC Köln. In the squad that day, but surprisingly only on the bench, was Gladbach's superstar Günter Netzer. He was leaving for Real Madrid at the end of the season. And the plan by Gladbach's illustrious coach Hennes Weisweiler seemed to be working. Herbert Wimmer made it 1-0 to the Foals. But the Billy Goats struck back before half-time. There were no more goals in the second half, but cometh extra time, cometh Netzer's legendary intervention. After a brief word with his teammates, Netzer decided to bring himself on as a sub, informing coach Weisweiler in the process. And he was centre of attention almost immediately. In the 3rd minute of extra time, Netzer scored the winner, achieving immortal status in his last game for Gladbach. The Stadion an der Alten Försterei, a temple to football culture. Nowadays, the home of Union Berlin is an established Bundesliga stadium. In 2001, the team from the suburb of Köpenick were in the 3rd division, but the stadium could produce a magical atmosphere nonetheless. Second tier Oberhausen, Fürth and Ulm had all been given short shrift. Then, Bochum of the Bundesliga were sent packing in the quarterfinals. And after a penalty shootout victory over Borussia Mönchengladbach in the semis, there was no holding back in Eastern Berlin. 3rd tier Union had reached the final of the DFB-Pokal. At the Olympiastadion, though, Schalke proved a bridge too far, winning the cup thanks to a 2-0 victory. But Union's devoted, football-mad fans still hailed their heroes. Football culture at its best. This is why we love football.
Hello and welcome back everyone to the Stadion an der Alten Försterei, playing host to a highlight match, a round of 16 DFB-Pokal tie against the record title holders Bayern München for the host Union Berlin, who have certainly felt the might of the Bavarians tonight. 3-1 down at the break. Bayern perhaps exacting a little bit of revenge for the 2-2 draw played out in the Bundesliga just under a month ago. Back then it was 3 points on offer. Tonight it's a ticket to the quarterfinals, something Bayern have only achieved once in the last 5 years. But Harry Kane's 5th cup goal of the season, combined with 2 Union Berlin own goals, have put Bayern in the driver's seat of this cup clash. It was Ilias Ancer with the first own goal. It was Diogo Leite with the second. Lennart Karl has been a bright spark for Bayern all evening. He is still waiting on his first ever DFB-Pokal goal, and now this second half wouldn't be a bad time to deliver. No changes being made by either side at the break. The question is whether Union Berlin can find an early goal to pull it within one. Give them something to work with. Michael Elise had the wrong kit on, seemingly, so a quick change for the Frenchman, maybe an extra layer of Under Armour as well to go along with it. It is a chilly night in Germany's capital, there's no doubt about it, but this match has done a lot to warm the soul. Entertaining, engrossing, engaging from start to finish. And make no mistake, Union Berlin are not the type of side to roll over and quit. These first 10 minutes of the second half could be crucial. It is Union Berlin who get the ball rolling in the second half. 3-1 down against the record title holders Bayern München in the DFB-Pokal round of 16. On a night where they needed a lot to go right, a fair few things went wrong in the first half. Some self-inflicted, some not. The own goals have not helped the cause, and meanwhile Woo Young-jong is once again prone on the pitch as Khedira tries to get the cross in. Kane sweeps clear. Jong gingerly to his feet, holding his lower back. It has been a bruising first 45 minutes for Union Berlin, but they would have expected it to be against Bayern. The fact is, they've got a lot of fight in them, and if they can get an early goal back in this second half, then they'll feel that anything is possible. Right now, Tai Upamecano has been caught by Ancer.
Well, big contact, understandable, painful for Upamecano. Hopefully he's fine.
There again, the fall from Jong. It was the fall in the first half that was really awkward from a big height, and something tells me he's still feeling the effect of that fall, hence why the second is more painful than perhaps it looks. The former Bayern man, keen to make his presence felt against his former side. Meanwhile, Ancer and Upamecano continue to have a chat, and now we've got Alexander Pavlovic down, holding his thigh. What a bizarre start to this second half. James Thorogood, your match commentator, alongside me, Stefan Freund. We're delighted to have the pleasure of your company at home. We're hoping for big things in this second half, but right now, no rhythm being generated.
Yeah, and don't forget, it's cold outside, half-time, and then you come back in the game. You have to run 100%, you have to work hard, and sometimes injuries, especially muscle problems, are a part of the game.
Well, that was it. Vincent Kompany was quite happy to report a clean bill of health compared to the game against St. Pauli. No real changes. He said, in fact, Alphonso Davies, in good news, is nearing a return for Bayern after his nasty knee ligament injury. Of course, there is a able replacement on the bench for Pavlovic in Leon Goretzka, the Germany international. Could replace another Germany international. But the fact is, these are the nights where those muscular injuries can creep up. Pavlovic not the player to take any chances either. Bayern not the type of side to take any chances, and given the strength and depth they have, they don't need to either. an early end to the evening for Alexander Pavlovic, who put in a very good performance in the first half.
Played really well. Good to mention it. Started the season with an injury, now is back, is playing well. Back in the starting 11. Good game first half. Always won the ball. Switch of play, good touches, good movements. Hopefully it's not a bad injury.
Now we'll see if we can actually get into the flow of this second half. We are expecting big things, but it all comes down to the fight back from Union. Do they have it in them on a night like tonight against this caliber of opposition? Life a little more uncomfortable for Steffen Baumgart. Said he wanted his side to use their strengths from set pieces and in transition, and it's Bayern set pieces that have produced 3 goals so far. Meanwhile, the goal back for Union Berlin after a glancing handball from Jonathan Tah allowed Leopold Querfeld to convert from the spot. In a rather bizarre twist of fate, you've got Danilo Duki, the top goal scorer in all competitions for Union Berlin, with 6 goals, the centre-back, and Leopold Querfeld, his fellow centre-back, has 3 goals in 3 games in Germany's sole competition. While Answer's goals have dried up, Jong struggling to really get off the mark with just 1 goal to his name in the first round of the DFB-Pokal. Meanwhile, you've got Josip Ilicic as well, who's struggling to perform. But at least the centre-backs are chipping in with the goals. Kane and Duki continue to battle it out. Fascinating matchup. It was at this stage of the competition last season that Bayern got knocked out. Round of 16 tie against the team that were the title holders at that time, Bayer Leverkusen. Manuel Neuer got the first ever sending off of his professional career after coming off the line to try and deal with a long ball for Jeremy Frimpong. He ended up breaking or fracturing his ribs in the process as well after the collision. Got sent off, a double whammy. Bayern reduced to 10 men. They were still the dominant team, but Nathan Teller popped up with a goal. And just to point out, if you want an indication of how cold it is now in the capital, Steffen Baumgart has a jacket on. He's normally someone who never wears a jacket. He's always in a t-shirt, and even he is feeling the chill on the sidelines at the Stadion an der Alten Försterei.
Moment too late, Goretzka. Foul. Option for Union.
Set piece posing a problem, and Jong is there. And a handball is another penalty. This time it's Lennart Karl, and this time Martin Peterson makes the decision instantly. The Bayern players can't believe it.
No, I think, is there a foul from Harry Kane with his elbow?
Oh, it's the elbow from Kane and not a handball from Karl, excuse me.
And no problem, James, I think it's definitely an elbow from Harry Kane, in my view, that I think is an understandable decision because Leitch is ready to win the header. And for me, understandable.
I was going to say, if Kompany was only looking for the handball, then he might have been missighted by the replay as well. The discussions, the debate is ongoing. But that might be why Pedersen made such a quick decision, because I have to say, if it was handball, he was very unsighted, but he had a good view of the challenge between Kane and Late.
Yeah,
yellow card for Harry Kane to boot.
And we saw the replay, and look at the elbow. The elbow is first into the face from Late, and then Kane are clearing the situation with his head. So that's why this time I agree with the referee straight away. Elbow first into Late's face, then win the header is always a foul and a yellow card.
That's certainly a lot more clear-cut than the first penalty. The question is, Leopold Querfeld now stepping up for a second time from the spot. Oh, someone on the Bayern bench has talked himself into trouble here.
It is Kompany.
It does look like it's Vincent Kompany. He doesn't get many yellow cards. He's normally one to keep his cool, so he clearly feels quite strongly about the decision that's gone against his side here. And this cup tie just got a little more interesting.
Yeah, and unbelievable. Jacket for Steffen Baumgart, winter jacket. Then Kompany a yellow card, is angry.
That jacket's coming off.
Everything is completely different. And that's why it's cup and a fantastic football game to watch.
Now, if Querfeld scores, that jacket's coming off now for Steffen Baumgart, I reckon. But Querfeld now, for the second time from the penalty spot, he's beaten Neuer once at the other end. Can he possibly beat him twice? Neuer with the mind games. Querfeld looks to hold his nerve, and he does! Into the second half, and for the second time tonight, Union Berlin have a lifeline from the spot, and their young Austrian centre-back Leopold Querfeld showing the composure of a veteran striker.
And very cool for his age. Look, against Manuel Neuer, is moving, waiting a moment, perfect finish.
We have a cup tie on our hands once again here in the German capital. The Union fight back is on. Bayern are ready to take the battle to their hosts. But this is now going to be a very intense second half. Diaz turns the corner. Oh, he gets taken down by Haber, but he won the ball according to Martin Petersen. The Colombian's not happy about it, but he is quick to his feet. Now Union in transition, closed down quickly by Harry Kane. Something tells me the decision, the yellow card, will only have stoked the fires of Harry Kane's competitive spirit.
Oh, and I think we have a fantastic game to watch here. I think Haber is playing the ball. Again, good decision from the referee. And we will have a lot of moments like this.
Now Ansa 1-2 with John. 3 for Kompany. He's all on his own, Ilias Ansa. Lima, Upamecano breathing down his neck. And in the end, the young striker loses out. But he's got support. Khedira settles for the throw-in.
Wow, exciting to watch, and everything possible now. Union are back in the game.
Tom Rother to launch. Kane wins the header against Dookie. Back to Rother. Lima with a no-nonsense clearance. Sign of the respect that Union have earned despite the scoreline right now. But that's it, Steffen. A side that go 2-0 down or 3-1 down against Bayern. There aren't many teams, there aren't many stadiums that could produce a comeback, but this is one of the stadiums, and this is one of the teams, and this is one of the nights that it could be possible. Cup games have their own little bit of magic.
Definitely, I think about Bayern. They have the option to score more goals too. So overall, the most important is that Union scored again before Bayern scores the next one. So they are coming closer. to score the equalizer. And that's always here at the Alte Försterei possible. Especially now they're playing the way to their supporters. Think about last 10 minutes still in the game, penalties, corners, free kicks.
Oh, you never know, there might be more penalties, Stefan. They've already had 2.
Good point. Too many already for me.
Technically, all 5 goals tonight have been scored from set pieces or dead ball situations. Leopold Querfeld doing something that Harry Kane failed to do in the first round of this cup competition, which is twice convert from the spot. It was Florian Stritzel who pulled off a magnificent save. But now here come Union. Oh, the pass from Jong. Right idea, wrong execution. Just put a little too much on it.
Good pressure from Jong and Ansa. The 2 strikers are a little bit closer now than first half together, so they can play when they win the ball. And that pass from Jong, not good enough. He could play him in.
But what I love about that is, if you don't know how special this stadium can be, even a misplaced pass from Jong somehow gets the crowd a little bit more excited, because they can still sense the potential. They can sense the momentum shifting a little bit at the start of this second half, because Union are really taking this game to Bayern now. It's going to ask a lot of Bayern's experience, composure, to marshal this game out, and they might even need another goal. Bayern now inviting a bit of pressure. Jong forced deep to the byline. Those are the moments where Union need a bit of quality, but Schaefer does well to win it back, and now Diogo Leite. Schaefer wants it back, doesn't get it. Leite with the cross, a little ambitious on that occasion, but Union win the ball back quickly. And an hour played here at the Stadion an der Alten Försterei, and this game at 3-2 in Bayern's favour feels like it's in the balance.
.30 minutes to play. Again, Union Berlin back. For me, still with the right decision from the referee. 2 penalties. And now, at home,
there was a lot of talk about Bayern's misery in this competition for the last 5 seasons. A second round defeat to Kiel in 2020. After that, it was a 5-0 loss in Mönchengladbach against Borussia Mönchengladbach. Quarterfinal defeat to Freiburg on home soil the season after. Then it was the second round defeat to Saarbrücken, then Leverkusen last season. Something tells me that record not playing on the minds of the players right now. This is now a win-at-all-cost situation as Kane goes for goal. Oh, Renaud, what a save. Well, after the mistakes he made for the 3 goals in the first half, that's the way to atone.
Great save, of course, but look at Kane coming inside on his right foot. His finish exactly to the second post. Only a world-class save can save Union.
Yeah, there's not many wrists that would have been strong enough to keep that one out, but Renaud's were. Kimmich. Change of angle, Lima to float this one in. Devilish delivery, but Querfeld, his fellow Austrian, meets it, and Stanisic, potential foul, but it's gone Bayern's way. Kane looked to provide the pass. It would have been a killer one to Karl, but it was cut out. And there was an offside flag up anyway.
Oh, tight decision.
decision, doing his best to try and break in beyond. He has certainly been a menace for Yannick Harborough, who has lost out more often than not, but on that occasion, got right side of his player.
Yeah, don't forget, don't make Bayern Munich angry. I have to mention that too. And that's what they do, Union. They are coming back, they try everything. And now Bayern can react in a way that nobody can in Europe at the moment.
If you look at the round of 16 results so far in the DFB-Pokal, interesting to note that after the last few seasons where lower league teams have really dominated this competition, we had Kaiserslautern in the final against Leverkusen a couple of seasons ago. Last campaign it was Arminia Bielefeld as a third-tier team playing out a 4-2 loss in the final against Stuttgart. But right now, we've got just one team from the second tier or lower in the last 8. That's Hertha Berlin, Union's city rivals. So
a massive win. I could hear a few noise because I'm living only a few minutes from the stadium. Great atmosphere, great for Hertha. Of course, they would love to play the final here in Berlin, no question.
Long throw, Kane, defensive duties again against Duki, wants the foul, doesn't get it. Touch off Lennart Kyle. Those fans behind Neuer's goal now trying to suck the ball towards goal for a potential third. One more goal to restore the pre-match status quo. It would be quite the turn of events after the first half we've seen. Steffen Baumgart. He might be 3-2 down with his side right now, but that is a man who is passionate about football. He can afford himself a wry smile even in the circumstances. Because Steffen, he can't be disappointed with what he's seeing from his side in terms of the fight back. There's no white flag being raised. They are making life as difficult as possible for Bayern despite the scoreline.
Yeah, and don't forget, Bayern is the team can score always from open play. Today, 3 times after set pieces. That's a surprise. Overall, Union are working hard. They have their match plan. They created moments maybe to come back. Okay, this time 2 penalties, set pieces. We spoke about that. Referee is involved today a lot. So far, I still think it's a good performance from the referee. Let the game run. It's a cup game. That's hard work and lots of 1 against 1.
Kane, that's a bit too rough and tumble from Duki. Kane using his savvy there to win the free kick. Felt the pressure coming, as it has done all night from Duki, who's tried to stay touch tight to the Englishman.
Yeah, contact is there. Free kick, that's it.
Duki has to be wary of being too rash with his challenges, because Kane will happily accept the chance to win free kicks. He will now be a threat for Joshua Kimmich to try and pick out. Two of his corners have already produced goals. Now a chance from the free kick. Kane the target. Duki with the head to it. Lima beaten to the loose ball by Jong, and that's a foul by Lima. He might not want to be, but the referee Martin Pedersen has certainly found himself in the thick of things tonight.
Jong is early on the ball, then there's a contact there from Lima. Jong is going down, it's a free kick. And that's it. So let's go, it's fine. But Bayern get angry, you can feel it. Every decision of a referee.
Well, you said don't make them angry, but making them frustrated isn't such a bad idea. And right now we're kind of flitting between the two. Not sure why Lima thought that wasn't a foul. But here he is involved again, chasing down Tom Rother. First touch favoured the Austrian. With another long throw. Kane with another header. He's winning that battle against Dookie at the near post from those situations. Now late. Schaefer stings the palms of Neuer. Well, the complexion of this game has changed entirely. The X factor of the home crowd is coming on strong. So are Union Berlin. And with 20 minutes of normal time remaining, they are looking the likelier to score next.
And they're playing in front of their own supporters, and they can feel the pressure now, the Bayern players.
Corner goes long. Goretzka hits to Jong. Back to the back post it goes. Rother is there, back across goal. This is dangerous. Oh, and late. Scorer of the own goal on the stroke of half-time with a chance to make amends. Swing and a miss.
Second ball coming in, good cross, second post from Jong. Rother putting the ball in that area. You can't clear the situation. And Leitch is in the perfect position to score the equalizer.
That's it. All the bodies were prone in front of him. The goal wasn't quite at his mercy, but it was there for the taking. Panic at the back for Bayern.
And he's disappointed. I think the ball bounced exactly in front of him. That's why he wasn't on target. Still a great chance to score the equalizer.
That really would have been something, though. 2 goals from Doki in the Bundesliga game, 2 goals from Querfeld, another from a centre-back in late would have been really something. But look at this Union side, they've got the bit between their teeth now. Jong goes for the spectacular. Sent it over. And now some changes to maybe instill some calm from the benches. Leonard Carl coming off, and it's the experience of Serge Gnabry being called upon here by Vincent Kompany. And this is the type of game where Gnabry's experience will serve Bayern well.
Yeah, and Karl looked a little bit tired now, second half, not involved. It's coming down to the match performance of Bayern, second half. Not a lot of possession in Union's half, and there is this strength of Karl, and of course, to have Gnabry on the bench. Oh, what a substitution.
Yeah, Pavlovic injured, Goretzka comes on, Karl comes off, Serge Gnabry comes on. And yet this second half was not a half for Karl. We weren't seeing him get involved. His touches weren't there as they were in the first half. Stanisic against Schaefer. It's now Khedira. Oh, what a ball, and answer. It was a touch behind and made it difficult. Could have turned it on target. But the ascendancy, Union are in it.
Yeah, if we see the replay, I think Jong is behind him. You can see, look at number 11 behind Ansa. Perfect from Khedira, great ball, and I think behind Jong is completely on his own, but he couldn't see it, Ansa.
Stefan Baumgart could.
Yes, he saw it.
A look at the match statistics. And I'm actually surprised that Bayern are winning the majority of the challenges, because it doesn't feel like it. But look at Union, the fact that they are coming on strong. Still more shots compared to Bayern's, but it is the record title holders who lead. And now they might get a chance. Diaz, oh, heavy touch, but he's squeezed it past Rono. It's late off the line. Oh, you've got to love it. This is turning into a cup classic here at the Stadion an der Alten Försterei. We've had a bit of everything. Own goals, penalties, goal line clearances, you name it, we've had it.
Can't breathe and enjoy it at home. Maybe we have to come down, but we can't.
Kimmich not happy that the challenge from Kemline wasn't penalised. Now Jong to the byline. Dangerous answer, makes a nuisance of himself, and it's wide. Oh my goodness, how much closer can Union come?
Oh, what a moment of the game. We will talk about it later. Again, good pressing, working hard. Kimmich thinks it's a foul, but that's the game now. Don't go too easy down. Well done, referee. And Jong this time, perfect layoff. Misunderstanding, Goretzka, Gnabry, and then the moment for Haberer to equalize. We will talk about that later, I think.
There was a let-off at one end for Union when Diaz's heavy touch let him down. And Late was able to clear.
And maybe it was offside, the pass from Gnabry, but we can't talk about everything at the moment.
No, but let-offs at both ends. Kimmich. Tatar. Schaefer on the stretch to try and cut out the pass, but Kane picks up the pieces. Diaz is on the march. It's infield to Gnabry. Diaz, he's made the run. Gnabry's found him. Diaz, this time, bottom corner, and the flag goes up. It did look like a hint of offside against the Colombian, and the flag was quick. He wags his finger. And now we get the nervous wait.
Oh, fantastic football in transition. Is offside, no question. A moment too late from Serge Gnabry. Rote is a little bit deeper than the last line from Union, but offside. My vision. You never know, huh? Maybe I'm blind.
Decision stands, goal does not. It was tight, and we've seen a lot of really tight calls in German football recently. Ilias Answer's goal against Bayern was one of them that was chalked off in the 2-2 draw. We had the Frank Honorat goal for Borussia Mönchengladbach chalked off recently as well, which, I mean, we're talking, that might be one of the tightest I've ever seen. And I think I said that about the Upamecano and Answer one as well. Doesn't matter how tight, offside is offside. That is one of the few black and white rules we have in football. Here is Answer. Cuts inside Kimmich, overcommitted, lovely 1-2, Answer! Oh, what a goal that would have been! Would have been very difficult to beat Neuer from that angle, but he gave it a good shot. Now Kane looks to release Olise. Lima hesitant on the overlap there. A sign that Bayern don't want to overcommit. The official attendance of just over 22,000, and right now they are making the noise of 50,000. Union Berlin are not just trying to harness the power of this crowd, they're trying to harness the power of the DFB-Pokal. A competition that has its own special way of springing a surprise or two.
Again, Ansa now far stronger than first half. 1-2 with Schaefer. Easy save for Neuer for me. Overall, we have an open game. So Union is completely in the game. So the next goal maybe will be the most important of the game.
Olise's flick doesn't work out. Answer cuts inside. Answer, he is full of confidence. The young man signed from Paderborn in the summer. Now Diogo late. Querfeld wins out late. Wants the foul from Lima, but it's the foul that goes against Diogo late.
I like the referee. Always the same. Is not enough contact, is no foul. And this time again is against Union. So it's not always against Bayern, because the Bayern player have that feeling and company that everything turns against them. No.
I think that was Horst Held slamming a blanket against the ground in frustrations about that decision. But that's what's at stake here tonight. That's the fine margins at play right now. And that is the opportunity that Union sense. Every moment could be crucial, and Tar goes down. A clip of the head from Ansa, who did everything he could to make a nuisance of himself.
He's not happy.
How much contact was there?
Yeah, that's the question that we can see only in replay, because from here, and let's have a look. Yes, the elbow is into his face. Not a yellow card, but contact is there. And that's why it's a foul, fine.
Yeah, want to rattle the jaw of Jonathan Tah. Certainly not what Ansa was trying to do. I think he was just trying to jump in front of him and prove and provide a distraction.
So it's not a real elbow, but
Ansa gets a yellow card, which in fairness, after Kane got a yellow card for the elbow that led to the penalty, is again consistent refereeing from Martin Peterson, and I'm glad that you praised him, because I think he's deserving of it tonight. The one controversial decision is that first penalty for Union Berlin and the handball against Jonathan Tah. I'd love to hear his thoughts on it after the game if we get the chance.
Me too, and I think that's good to explain. So many things happen in the game, and still handball was there. So overall, the referee is doing a very good job so far.
I should point out he was a late stand-in as well. It was Dr. Matthias Jullenbeck who was meant to take charge of this game, but a bout of illness called Martin Peterson into action.
And I'm thinking, if I'm on the pitch today, maybe I had a yellow card already, but I would love to play games like that, because all the players on the pitch are in the game and try everything.
Upamecano caught Ansa. He tried to run away from the referee to avoid the yellow card. It didn't quite work. And now Kompany is calling for calm on the sidelines, and that is exactly what Bayern need. Bayern teams of old would have the experience and the composure to induce a bit of calm here, but Union are not giving them that chance.
Yeah, but they're at home, and of course they will provocate a little bit, make a foul bigger, talk, or this one, a little bit contact, is it a yellow, maybe not, but that's how it is when you play away at Union Berlin.
Yeah, and Ilias Ansa's buying into that. It's not about the end product, it's sometimes about the hard work, and he is making life a little bit trickier for Jonathan Tah and Dayot Upamecano. We've got just under 10 minutes of normal time remaining. And right now, this game still feels like it has an element of being played on a knife's edge. It feels like it's 2-2. And Union are pushing for a winner here. One more goal would only be enough to potentially force extra time, as Duki finds the run of Haberer. Yannick Haberer does well to get the cross in, and Tah does well to get to it.
And 5 Union players in the box, so Union are trying everything. And the way to come back in the game, of course, is higher work rate than Bayern.
Got 2 changes for Union Berlin. It is going to be Tim Skarke and Livan Burtu coming off the bench. 2 attacking options here, called upon by Steffen Baumgart. Suggestion he's ready to take a risk. It's Jong and Schäfer who come off.
Yeah, 2 attacking players coming on, so like for like, both same position.
Bharatvarsh. It's his Union Berlin debut.
Yeah, and there's a left winger, likes to go forward, good dribblings. That's massive from Steffen Baumgart to give him an option now in that game.
I mean, talk about being thrown in at the deep end, but then Union have nothing to lose right now. And while Ivan Burcu has come on for his debut, it's worth noting Tim Skarke makes his 54th appearance for Union. He's never scored for the capital city side. But here comes Lima, overcooks the cross into no man's land.
The key is bring fresh legs now, because the work rate is unbelievable from Union Berlin second half. So Bayern couldn't play the power play in Union's half for the second half completely.
Union deserve a lot of credit for completely changing this game in their favour. And while Bayern would have wanted to control the game a little bit in this second half, that early penalty converted by Querfeld ultimately added jeopardy that has never dissipated. Now Min-jae Kim and Hiroki Ito are coming on, and again, if that's not a sign of the respect that Union have earned themselves here against Bayern, then I don't know what is. Vincent Kompany wants to shut this down, but the comeback is still within grasp for those in red and white. They've got men in the middle lined up. Querfeld! Oh, the hat-trick is a matter of inches away for the centre-back.
Oh, please, great cross. Again, 6 Union players in the box, and it's Querfeld. Wins the header, strong in the air. Against Kane, against Kimmich. Next moment, we spoke about Haberer's chance, and now the next one.
And he's arguably one of the players of the game, Leo Querfeld.
Yeah, can you imagine if he's scoring the third one as a centre-half?
He'd be level with Harry Kane at the top of the goal-scoring charts in the DFB-Pokal with 5 goals. 2 tonight from the spot. That header would have been more his bread and butter. But now, with that chance flashing just wide, it's Michael Olise and Konrad Laimer off. It's Hiroki Ito and Min-jae Kim on. Hiroki Ito goes to left-back. We've got a 3-man back line. Yeah. Kim, Tar, Upamecano and Stanisic at right-back now. A change of system to a 3-man back line.
Yeah, and he did it. He did it against the Paris Saint-Germain for the last few minutes, exactly like this, to keep the advantage. And that's the Bayern too, and that's a company too. Sometimes you have to go a different way.
Willing to adapt, but of course against Paris Saint-Germain they were down to 10 men. It made a
but
little
still,
bit...
he's changed also to a back 3, and that's unusual. Sometimes you have to, and they have beaten Paris away from home with 10 men.
It's understandable, because right now you can see Ansa, Skarke and Duki are basically a 3-man front line for Union. Khedira is almost playing as an attacking midfielder, a man who has made a reputation as one of the most formidable holding midfielders in the league, and now Kane, that's a clip, and that's a nasty one from Kemline. Had to risk it in the 50-50 against the Englishman, but he's really taking him out at the ankle there.
And again, the right decision. Kemline is completely too late, is a tactical foul and painful for Kane. Yellow card.
Another change for Union. Stanley Unsoki comes on for Tom Rother, who's been brilliant tonight from that left-back role. His long throws have posed a problem. He's tried to deal with the danger of Olise and Karl and Diaz, who have all flitted up on his side of the pitch. Maybe just let Olise run past him a few too many times, but he wasn't punished on any of them. Now Stanisic, not easy for Stanisic. He wins it back well, though. Now finds Kimmich. Quickly closed down by Burcu. He has eyes in the back of his head sometimes, he also with Kimmich. That's a lovely ball from Ito to find Diaz. Neat touch to go away from the pressure. Now Goretzka. First real foray forward for Bayern that we've seen in a while, and Soki does well. Finds the outlet to answer. He gets the throw in. We are closing the curtain on the round of 16. St. Pauli, Hertha Berlin, Leipzig, Leverkusen, Freiburg and Stuttgart. The cup holders have already booked their ticket to the quarterfinals. Bayern are a couple of minutes removed from doing the same, but not looking comfortable. Meanwhile, in the other tie, it's still 0-0 between Hamburg and Holstein Kiel. Stanisic wants a free kick, doesn't get it. This is furious stuff at the Stadion an der Altenförsterei. Just as I say that, a moment of complacency in amongst the fury. Diogo late with a poor pass, letting Steffen Baumgart side down now, and time is precious. And every second is working against Union, and every second is working in favour of Vincent Kompany and co. They got the battle they were expecting, but having twice led by 2 goals, something tells me they would have wanted to avoid that battle. Loose header from Kimmich. Duki wins it back, and now we've got a foul on Jonathan Tah, and the Bayern players asking the questions as to whether it was a stud-up challenge. I think Khedira pulls out of it. There's contact.
Yeah, and I think Khedira is a little bit on top of his left foot.
6 minutes of time added on at the end of the 90 here in Germany's capital. It's where all roads lead in the DFB-Pokal. Bayern, having not won this competition since 2020, having not featured in the finals since 2020, have their sights firmly set on featuring in the showpiece event at the end of the season. Neuer gets a yellow card for time wasting. He won't bat an eyelid at that. A man who has been there and seen it all in this competition. But right now, he's also witnessing his Bayern side being given an almighty test by Union Berlin. Ansa and Skarka do well. Ansa, oh, brilliant play from the youngster. That is magnificent from Ilyas Ansa. He had Tah and Upamecano right on his heels. He found the pass to keep Union in possession. Now can they turn it into something? Soki, chance to cross, floats it in. Harbour is arriving, and Ito, what a vital touch he got. Virtue just goes diving in on Diaz, and that is ill-advised. He might have got the ball, but he really came through the back of the Colombian there. Not really sure he can complain about the yellow card.
My first reaction, a stupid foul, because Diaz now is contact with the ball. Sorry, I have to apologize first. He's trying to keep the ball, and he's playing the ball. So clever from Diaz, the contact afterwards.
I can understand why Martin Pedersen gave the yellow card. I think that's one of those, if he reviewed the footage, he'd probably reverse his decision. But of course, you can't do that for yellow cards. But in the first instant, it did look like a rash challenge there from Ivan Virtue.
Oh, he's going for a ball. That's why it's not a bad foul. Contact was there. Foul, not a yellow card, but still the right decision from the referee.
The ball quickly recycled by the ball boys here in Berlin. Cross in, Skarka's there! And there's a touch on the header that took the pace off the ball and made life a little bit easier for Manuel Neuer.
And look again, 3 strikers in that position, all in from Union, full risk.
Let's go, Union score a goal. it would only be enough to force extra time. But here's Ansa. Still going. The man nicknamed the Octopus. The lanky legs, the lanky arms, they seem just to get to everything. Kane puts the ball out of play so that, I believe it's Josip Stanisic, can receive treatment from the physios.
Yeah, I think Khedira is on top of his ankle. And that's painful, no question. But that's happened in games like that. So Khedira is jumping in, Stanisic is working hard. And then, of course, 50-50 decisions. The ball was free. He was a little bit earlier on the ball, and Khedira jumped on top of his ankle.
Nothing about the DFB-Pokal has been easy for Vincent Kompany and Bayern this season. Wien Wiesbaden, third-tier side, really pushed them to their limits. And it required a late winner in injury time from Harry Kane to survive a scare. Köln took the lead in the 4-1 defeat they suffered in the second round against the record title holders. And Union Berlin, no matter the result now, have genuinely given as good as they've got. They did that in the Bundesliga, but in different circumstances, aided by the fact that they took the lead. Today, a lot more character needed to be shown from the capital city side, and they've shown it. It just might not be enough against the might of Bayern München. Less than 60 seconds remain. This is Hail Mary stuff now from Union Berlin. Does the DFB-Pokal, do the football gods have a last surprise in store? Frederick Bruno hasn't covered himself in glory at the other end. Doesn't get on the end of the Khedira flick at this end, and now Gnabry. Bayern just can't win the ball back. Soki round the corner for Ansa. Min-Jae Kim across to cover. Throw into Union.
Oh, is it exciting? And long throw, set pieces.
I was going to say Tom Roth is not on the pitch anymore for his long throw, so it's worked to Kemline instead. Lofted into the box. Kim with the header. Harbour against Diaz, but Diaz wins out. Diaz runs clear. Renault's off his line. Diaz thinks better of going for goal. In the end, runs out of steam. But Bayern haven't. A battle to the last in Berlin. But Bayern hold their nerve, they hold their own to hold on to a 3-2 win. Steffen Baumgart and Union gave as good as they've got here at the Stadion an der Alte Försterei. Great character shown despite difficult circumstances. But Bayern do what sides of their caliber do. They rose above an almighty challenge tonight, and for only the second time in 6 seasons they have reached the quarterfinals of the DFB-Pokal. But they don't want to stop there. They have their sights set on the final and a return to Berlin in May, and they are paving the way tonight with a 3-2 win against Union Berlin. Well, there's almost a collective silence in the stands because, Stefan, I think everyone is catching their breath after what was a breathtaking 90-plus minutes here that to the last second we felt could have still swung either way.
First of all, congratulations to Bayern Munich. And what a battle, what a cup game to watch. Goals came after set pieces from both sides. Overall, I can't say is a deserved win, because the second half, Union Berlin created 7-2 chances and was the better team and played most of the time in Bayern's half. Unbelievable comeback. So overall, it could be easy a 3-3. Think about Haber's chance, Querfeld's chance to score the equalizer. So overall, maybe a little bit lucky to win for Bayern Munich. A great game. And I need to breathe too, and you too, for a moment. Oh, great to watch.
Don't get me wrong, they've won the title 20 times in their past, but they'll be well aware, the Bayern players, that games like this, you need a little bit of fortune on your side. When it is all about the fight, which it was.
Good point, it is a message. Bayern Munich in the last 2 years, maybe, could they fight like this today? Could they change to a back five? Could they change to defend first against the team and don't give them another goal-scoring opportunity? Respect to Bayern, they can. And respect to Union Berlin, that they never give up. Don't forget, 2-0 down at home early in the game, and they came really close second half to come back.
Yeah, Union, despite the defeat, big winners in many ways. Because unlike the defeat to Heidenheim here on the weekend, this was one that they really showed off all their qualities under Steffen Baumgart. He is a passionate coach who lives and breathes the emotions of a match. And he lived and breathed them a little bit more than normal tonight, because that's what the cup does to you.
And look at the reaction of the supporters. Nobody's going home. So everyone give the respect back to the home side, and also, of course, to Bayern, because they know at the moment Bayern is unbeatable. It looks like that. Still, if they're winning games like that, but to stay behind all the Union players, love to see them.
But you're right, that is a recognition of the fact that their team in the second half did to Bayern what few teams ever do to Bayern, especially this season under Vincent Kompany. I'd almost argue that Union were more dominant in that second half than Arsenal were in the Champions League game, which is, of course, the only one that Bayern have lost this season.
Exactly. And if we'll watch the highlights later, Union Berlin came really close. Not only have possession or be in Bayern's half. No, they created good goal-scoring opportunities against a team that is one of the best in Europe at the moment.
Yeah, lest we forget, 71 goals scored this season now by Bayern.
Yeah.
In 21 games, that is nothing short of extraordinary. And the fact that they did it with 3 set pieces today against Union Berlin, who were the set-piece specialists, and it was the whole pre-match narrative. I mean, it's an interesting way to exact your revenge for that 2-2 draw a few weeks ago.
Perfect, and I'm sure that was part of the match plan, because Kimmich's delivery is one of the best in Europe too. 2 fantastic corners in an area that Renault can do better. Ansa, for the first goal, can do better. Individual mistakes for me. So that gives the advantage for Bayern, and that changed the game in a way to the Bundesliga match.
The Bayern players are down the tunnel. Meanwhile, the Union Berlin players continue to hold court with those ardent fans behind the goal to our left. They have been just as breathtaking as the match was on the pitch in the stands tonight. And the Bayern fans, you have to give them credit, the ones that travelled north, made a magnificent ruckus themselves. But it all added to a very special cup night, and we thought it could be. We knew it had the potential, but it's another thing to have the potential, it's another thing to live up to that billing, and that's exactly what this game did. If anything, Steffen, I wouldn't have minded an extra half an hour tonight.
No question. We couldn't breathe anyway.
And Union would have been deserving of it, but the football gods don't work like that.
Look at the supporters. I love that.
I was just going to say, but if you want a taste of how special this club is, just soak this in.
Yeah.
Our love, our team, our pride, our club.
Goosebumps, and I have played here in that stadium, and I know how special Union Berlin is. Good to have them in the Bundesliga. They deserve it.
As I said earlier, I mean, we've been in many a German stadium together, and there are few where at 3-1 down against Bayern, I still would have believed that something was possible. This is one of those stadiums for a reason. And this is one of those clubs for a reason. And right now, they might not be hitting the same heights they did when they first broke onto the Bundesliga scene. under Urs Fischer. But the fact is, this is still a special club with a special connection to its community. And in Steffen Baumgart, you can argue they've got a pretty special head coach on the sidelines that really speaks.
Yeah, he played for the club, and he knows exactly the philosophy. He knows how important are the supporters, and of course, the attitude to play for Union. Remember, when you change the club, every player, they played for Union. When he's coming back, they tell him the Fußballgott, football.
God.
Football God. It's exactly the same in English.
Yeah, nice translation.
And can you imagine? So that you leave the club, you come back with another club, and you say Fußballgott.
Yeah, you will not get that type of reception everywhere you go. And I think these players recognise it, which is why they still, we're now almost over 5 minutes removed from the final whistle, if not longer. They're not going anywhere, the fans aren't going anywhere. And again, you wouldn't have known they lost tonight.
Yeah, I think it's 3-2 for Union already, or 4-3, in a way to show the supporters at home. That's something special here from the Union supporters, what they're doing now. Nobody's going.
Now, if the fans were worth a goal or two, then these guys would have been worth a hat-trick tonight. The priority for Union now does remain survival in the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
But when you see performances like this against Bayern, you go back to the 2-2 draw, you have to say they've got all the qualities to still well clear of a relegation battle.
I agree, and especially with that home advantage. It was a big defeat against Heidenheim last weekend. If they beat Heidenheim, so they're already in midfield of the Bundesliga. Now they have to look down, be safe, but I think they will.
A look at the full-time statistics, and I guess the big question remaining now, Steffen, we want to talk about the shots that Union had, because they certainly dominated in that regard, but this was a clinical performance from Bayern tonight. 6 shots, 6 on target, and half of those scored, with a helping hand from some Union Berlin players, which you should point out. But the question I wanted to ask you, Bayern haven't been to the final since they last won it in 2020. Can they go all the way this season?
Of course they can. Before that game, I would give the same answer. And I think for the game overall, it was massive football game to watch, because two different philosophies are playing against each other. Bayern fantastic in possession, and Union are fantastic without the ball and on set pieces. So overall, great to watch. And Bayern, they can beat every team away and at home. So I think they are the favorite.
Yeah, we're revisiting the highlights of this incredibly engrossing and engaging match that we were treated to at the Stadion an der Alten Försterei. There were some controversial decisions in there. The handball against Jonathan Tah in the first half.